Hi guys, and welcome back to my garden. So let's talk. It is hot in Arizona. I mean hot, like 105 degrees to 110 degrees every single day. But I am getting some success with some of my plants, not all of them. But you know, this is my first year and I'm learning, so I'm excited to kind of give you guys an update on what's going good, what I'm going to do different, and how I'm going to plant things differently. So as I walk through my garden today, there's going to be a lot of construction. We are putting together not only still the monsoon barrier to hold the shade cloth, but we're also putting in a new garden bed. We're going to be putting in arches, and we're going to be putting in different trellises, because I figured out a way, after mapping and planning, how I can grow even more stuff back here in my small space. So let's take a look. So we're going to start over here with my okra trees. I call them trees because they have gotten so big now, and they're also putting off a lot of okra. Let me see if I can find some. Like, there's a big bunch. If you go over here, I have one that I need to pick today because that's getting pretty big, and one that's like growing that'll probably be picked tomorrow morning. So these are growing really good. For those of you guys that are in Arizona or somewhere the same type of 9B climate, this plant does amazing in the sun. We've even had like the shade cloth, because we don't have it stapled in yet, fall off and it be 110 while I'm at work, and it still be just fine, not burn up, not anything. So I get west facing sun, but this plant is doing amazing. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here, and then my 6th one is right there. So the other thing that did really well is the corn. The corn did really good. I'm starting to pull all of the corn today because I'm going to prep this bed with some compost and some worm castings so that they can kind of start getting in there and doing something so that it's ready for the fall garden. So one of my problems with gardening is that I didn't have any worms. And I didn't really know what to do to get worms, so of course I went to a pet store, bought some worms, threw them in there, and called it a day. And then digging around in my garden over the months that I have been going at this, I realized that the worms left, or they died, or I don't know what happened to them, because I don't have them anymore. They're nowhere to be found. So I'm not getting worm castings. And my garden is growing, but I feel like it can grow even better. And I've used fertilizers and different things. I use the fish fertilizer is what I use, that's more natural. Before, I did try using like Miracle Grow, and I just didn't want to use something that was chemically made. But Jerri from All Purpose Moms, which I will link her channel below, but she told me about the Arizona Worm Farm, which is an amazing place. I went on a tour and I got some compost, and I got tons of, let me try and hold this up and not drop it. This is worm casting. So guys, this whole thing of worm casting was literally, I think it was like $5. So, and this is enough for me to spread all over my garden. So today, all of the empty spots that I have in my garden, I've kept them empty because I wanted to put the worm casting and put the compost in there, so then I can have those beds in that spot ready for the fall. Another plant that's doing amazingly well here is the Armenian cucumber. This plant, if you guys are in Arizona or any other hot climate that's dry, this plant doesn't really need shade. I only have it shaded because I was trying to save the squash here, which is not doing so well, but that's the only reason why. But as you can see, this whole top does not get any type of shade, and it actually is okay with it. It moved from the shade cloth to get more sun, and the leaves are green, the leaves are healthy, and the plant is flowering. So it's not dropping its flowers. It's actually, if we go down here, has fruit on it that it's starting to grow, and it's doing really, really well. So if you're looking for a cucumber that you want to grow in the middle of the summer in Arizona, this is the one you want to do, because it is unbothered by 115 degrees. So just a break from the tour to give you some garden cuteness. This is my little hunting lizard. Every time he sees me out here to water, he stands in this spot so that he can get all the bugs that run away from the water. So he is ready for breakfast. But the lizard's gonna have to wait because we are trying to film a video before he gets his breakfast. So one of the things that is going on right now is in Arizona, the monsoons are starting to come. They're not really crazy right now. They're supposed to, I think we're starting to get rain today, but you know, I don't think it's anything crazy. As you can see, the wind's starting to blow, which feels really, really good out here. But we want to make sure we get our structures in before that happens. So we've been looking at different ways to hold the wood pieces, and I feel like I found a great plan on how to hold the wood pieces, but also be able to have more space to grow things during the fall as well. So this is what I got going. So I decided to, instead of putting these wood pieces in a bucket of cement, I decided to get these cinder blocks. And the cinder blocks have an empty space, and as you can see, there's still a little bit of space right here in between the wood, and it holds it really good because that's not moving anywhere. So one of the things I want to do are plant green beans. My green beans have grown pretty much through anything. So I think that I can take one vining plant and put a vining green bean, like a pole bean, that will go up there and go all the way up there and over, and then in this empty space I can put maybe 2 or 3 bush beans. So that would give me more growing space, because if there's one thing I realize is that our family loves green beans. So some of my other plants I have going here are my cucumbers. So these ones are a small space cucumber. I thought it was going to be a bush one, but it is definitely not. As you can see, it vined all the way up pretty much to the top of that T-trellis, or T-post. But I am going to put this same exact plant, because it did give me a lot of cucumbers. So I'm going to take this plant and I'm going to put it over here in this empty space. Not actually take this physical plant. I do have some starts growing. I'm just growing another seed of this variety because I did really enjoy the cucumbers that came off of this one, and the pollinators loved it, and it was a really good plant. Even with me not really understanding how to water it at first and letting it get powdery mildew, it did really produce well. Now the other thing over here is this melon. If you guys can see, let's try and get in here. I'm crawling on the floor, guys. That is my little baby cantaloupe. It is a Minnesota midget, and as you can see, it's all over the place. It's even over here. It's just grabbing on to everything. So it was supposed to stay in this little tomato cage, but it did not. It went everywhere. So I actually want to grow another one of these for the fall, and I want to put it up a trellis, because although it said compact plant, I don't think that's what it really meant. So I feel like I can grow a lot more stuff in that space if I let that grow up versus growing all over the place. Isn't that right, plant? Yes. Now another plant that's doing really well in my garden are my pepper plants. This one is a jalapeno, and I'm trying to get seeds from this jalapeno plant So I'm letting that one go as far as I can with maturity. I want it actually to turn red because I think that way I'll get the best seeds from it. This one is the poblano pepper, and it still doesn't have any flowers. Still waiting for that one, but my poblanos, they're growing, they're just not flowering. But my shishito, on the other hand, I've cut this thing back 3 times already. You guys have seen since February, and it just keeps going. Keeps giving me shishitos, which we love to saute. So these ones are doing really well. The ones that I used in the in-ground garden bed didn't seem to really grow or do anything. They got fruit, they got sick. As you can see, there's still spots on the leaves that I've been cutting back, and they grow, they're fine, and then they kind of get sick again. The fruits on them have not grown past this size, so I don't know if they're going to or what. But what I do know is that when I'm looking at garden space and what I need to grow in a big bed and need to have space for, I don't need to put these pepper plants in my garden bed. These plants go really, really well actually in pots. If I look at it, my pots are doing way better than the ones in the beds. So for me, wanting to plant stuff for small spaces, I now know that I can put my pepper plants in these pots and move them around, put them wherever I need to put them without having to take up the space in the raised garden bed. Because for me, trying to grow things, and especially enough things for my family, in such a small space, the raised garden beds are valuable to me. Very, very valuable territory. Now my beans, on the other hand, these ones in here are completely covered by a sheet. And I noticed that these beans, which they're on the edge here and they need to be watered, they're doing a lot better, and you can see that they're getting ready to start putting on some flowers. These beans over here, on the other hand, all got burned. They got burned really, really bad. I mean, this one in the back might be a little okay, but they really got burned. But they were underneath just this shade cloth. So I think that when I grow beans in the summer, the hottest part of the summer, I'm going to make sure that I have them underneath something that really, really blocks the sun, because they don't need a whole lot of sun in order to, you know, start growing or doing something. This bed is covered during the day with a shade cloth like this, which is probably why they're growing that way, because they're trying to get away from the hot heat. I understand bean plants. I'm trying to get away from this hot heat too. But the Swiss chard back here is doing amazing. It's still growing. We're still picking from it. We're still eating from it, and it's still not bolted. I do have these covered too with the sheet. So I think next year, next summer, I'm going to continue having these covered by something thick like a sheet, because it gives us a green leafy vegetable along with the kale too as well. Gives us green leafy vegetables throughout the summer, which I think is amazing. So that's it, guys. As you can see, I am still growing stuff in the hot Arizona sun. We're eating a lot of Swiss chard and a lot of okra and cucumbers, but we still have produce. So thank you guys for watching and following along on this crazy journey that I've decided to partake on. And thanks for all of you guys that have subscribed. We are so close to our first 100 subscribers, and I'm actually pretty excited about it. I went to the Arizona farm, was it the Arizona worm farm, and actually talked to them about being able to feature them on our YouTube channel. So that will be coming along really soon. Oh, one thing I want to show you guys before I leave. Okay guys, so I had to go inside and grab it, but this is my mystery plant, and these leaves are huge. It's kind of like when you get a new puppy, you don't know what it is, but you look at its paws and you're like, oh, those are some big paws, that's going to be a big boy. Jerry, I feel like this is going to be large. Yeah, I'm excited. I still don't know what it is, so if you guys have any guesses, put them in the comments down below. But I feel like this is crazy for all of my seedlings to have sprouted and are getting pretty big in just a little amount of time. So I'm going to be letting this grow inside, letting it get nice and strong, so that then probably the beginning of September is when I'm going to take all my seedlings and plant them into my beds that have been composted and worm casted, and now they're fully ready for the fall. So you guys keep watching and just see, see what happens. Let's see what grows on that. Alright guys, hope you guys have hope you had a great 4th of July, and hope you have a great week. Bye!